All right, fixing to get some equipment here loaded up into the Ram. We're gonna go out for our afternoon route here, where we go to, as we do on every Tuesday, going out to Flower Mound area and North Carrollton area. We're gonna do another Tuesday talk here. I'm gonna talk about something that was inspired in another YouTuber's video that I was watching yesterday evening. Lawn Pro is the name of his channel. I don't know the guy's name, but his channel is Lawn Pro. He was talking about making changes in his business for with business equipment and whatnot. And it got me to thinking of something that happened last year when I was working. At one time, believe it or not, I had 12 lawnmowers. Now that may sound excessive. Quite frankly, it's a lot of mowers, you know. But these, I had 12 mowers, and obviously I wasn't using, all 12 of those mowers every day. I'd probably use 2 or 3 mowers, or maybe 2 mowers every day, and the rest of them just sat, in my shop. And I had, 3 zero turns. I didn't have any standards at the time, but I had 3 zero turns. I had a couple of 30-inch mowers. At one time I had 4 30-inch mowers. Why you have that many, I say I was hoarding or whatever, but I accumulated equipment, and I had a lot of it. Well, when I was during the couple months I was hurt, I had a lot of time to reflect on my business model and how I was running things. And it was actually a friend of mine, good friend of mine named James. He talked to me. He saw my setup and what I was running and everything. He saw all the stuff in my shop, and he goes, "Hey man, you're equipment rich here, but the question you got to ask yourself is, are you job poor?" And at the time, I'm thinking, no, I'm not job poor. I've got a lot of jobs. I'm making a lot of money. I'm mowing a lot of yards and whatnot. But thinking about it, after reflecting on it for a while, thinking about it, I kind of was. I kind of was job poor, but equipment rich. Not meaning that I was poor in the sense that I didn't have any money coming in. I did have money coming in quite a bit, but I didn't have the money that coming in to justify having 3 zero-turn mowers, or 4 30-inch commercial mowers, 4 Exmark 30s, or, I think I had 2 Honda 21s. I had a old Toro 21. I had an Exmark 21. I had a Lawn Boy 21. I had all these old, mowers that I wasn't using, that maybe, I would say, oh, I'm going to use a different one every, couple of days, every, week. I'm going to use a different one. Then I'd end up, just grabbing the same mower that I'd ran the previous day, because, that's just, it's just what I did, it's, you kind of get into a rhythm, and you know what you like, and you want to stick with that. That's kind of what I did. Well, a lot of the equipment kind of started to, not that it wasn't working at all, but it started to, when you don't use equipment for a while, you have issues with the equipment, not, the carburetors get gummed up, and the fuel lines kind of crack, or your oil gets stale, and you just don't use the mowers after a while, especially with gas-powered equipment. It's not the same really with battery-powered, but with gas-powered it's the same. If you don't use them all the time, they start to degrade, the concept of entropy, starts to come into effect. I'm getting my batteries here to go out to this next job. I'm taking 2 batteries, 2 small ones and 1 big one. We'll probably only need 1 small one in all reality. But yeah, if you don't use your equipment all the time, it's gonna waste away, and that's unfortunately what happened to a lot of my equipment while I was hurt. I could only use, when I was hurt, I was only using the 2 0-turns. Those are the only mowers I was physically able to use. So I was only using those 0-turns, that Gravely 34-inch 0-turn, and my Exmark Radius 48 to a lesser extent the Exmark, but mostly what I was using was the Gravely. But anyhow, I let my equipment, a little bit of my equipment go for a while, and got to the point where I had to ask myself, why do I have all this equipment? What is the point? What is the point of having 12 lawnmowers, if I'm doing 10 yards a day? I don't need that many mowers. And I had to come to grips with that. It was something I think, I don't know if I was hoarding per se, but I had a lot of things that would come up and I'd say, oh man, that's a deal, I gotta buy that, and without stopping to ask myself, do I really need this at this time? Is this a piece of equipment that I need, or is it just a piece of equipment that I want, for a hobby? Because you can collect mowers as a hobby. I know of people that do that, but I run a business with mine. I work with mine, so yeah, we're good. Seems, it was really, in hindsight, it was really a bad business decision for me. One second, I'm going to load this mower into the truck here. Set the camera to where it's not. There we go. But in hindsight, yeah, it was a really bad business decision for me to make. And luckily, I realized that, and the conversations I had with my buddy James, were one of the things that helped me realize, kind of that I was kind of, hanging on to more equipment than I needed. He, one point he was basically telling me, you got 2 options that are, you could go with. And they're both, pretty good options, but really what you need to do is either one, hire some guys full time, stick them in the Chevy, that old Chevy truck that I have, stick them in there and have them drive around and service a route for you, and give them, a 30-inch and a 21 and one of the 0-turns, and have them do that. Or sell, 90% of this equipment and just run your business with less, because basically, it costs money to maintain all this stuff. Mowers cost money to maintain, and, they cost time to maintain. If you don't want to spend money at a service dealer, you got to spend time, taking all your filters and getting them changed and changing your oil and, doing all this work for a lot of mowers you're not even using. So I had to take a hard look at it realistically. I had to, reflect and personally decide that moving forward for this season, I was not going to run, I was not going to go out and buy a bunch of equipment all the time, and I know I've bought, I did recently buy that Toro grandstand in here that's my backup mower that I'm working on. But obviously that had a purpose. I can't, it's kind of, sketchy trying to run a landscape company with one big mower like this, because even though the Vantage here is in really good shape, low hours, and it runs tip top, you're always susceptible to chaotic situations like, your belt breaks, in the middle of a mow job and you got to finish up, or, certain jobs like the church, which is really big, you can't just push mow, 2 acres. I mean, you could, but it's with a 21-inch mower, that's not something I'd recommend doing. So it's good to have a backup, which, right now I got 4. I went from 12 mowers, to 4 mowers. I've got 2 21s and the two 48s, Grandstand and the Vantage there. And that's the system I'm going to run. If I buy another mower at any point, I've thought about buying a battery-powered push mower just because, I kind of want to get into the, kind of want to see if the Echo 21-inch 56-volt push mower is any good. I've thought pretty hard about buying one of those, but probably if I do, I'll probably let go of one of my 21-inch gas-powered mowers, just so that I, consolidating down and everything. But anyhow, this is my short little setup for Tuesday. I'm fixing to go out and knock out these 2 properties that are on the edge of town, kind of a little bit further away from me. So hope everybody else is having a great day, and thank you for listening to me ramble here about more of my some of my philosophies and just some things I'm doing in my business right now. So take care and have a good one.